What if I tell you that the disaster that has happened in Sikkim doesn't come as a surprise to me? This disaster was already in the making, and we have a lake to blame. This is the Lake Lonak. It's a glacial lake. It got birth as a supraglacial lake. That means it is sitting on the top of a glacier. It's a moraine dammed lake, and it has created the situation that it is giving in Sikkim. Cloudbursts are, of course, one of the reasons for it. There are other features to blame, such as unscientific urban development, intensifying temperatures, which of course create cloudburst-like situation. A low pressure area that is moving towards the east, also giving rainfall to certain regions in Bihar, West Bengal. But we are going to talk about the GLOF, Glacial Lake Outburst Flood, the Lake Lonak, and everything else that is relevant to it. From the perspective of GS Mains Paper 1, stay engaged till the end of the class. There is a prelims question waiting for you. Now, do not worry about making notes because I provide the notes through my Telegram channel that is by the name of Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you have followed this Telegram channel, you will know that you will get all the important PDFs here. Other than this, if you have any questions regarding this examination, you can also talk to me on my Instagram and follow me on Threads. Moving on, this is the roadmap that I have made out for you. Of course, we have to know the news, what is actually happening in Sikkim, which regions have been struck by disaster. The Lake Lonak, the other important things with respect to River Teesta and the cloudbursts, flash floods, everything will be covered. Do not worry at all about the entire situation because I am here to help you through it. Now, cloudburst in Sikkim triggers flash floods, which has washed away many people. There are at least 20 military personnel that have been missing. Rescue operations are going on. Operations are going on to rescue people who are stuck in this particular disaster. So let's talk about it. Flash floods, they are believed to have started at 1:30 a.m. on Wednesday. And this is due to sudden cloudburst over the Lonak Lake. The Lonak Lake is the main one that is responsible because this is a supraglacial lake. Supraglacial lake. I will tell you many things about it as well. And a flash flood occurred in the Teesta River in the Lachin Valley. Another important thing that in the Lachin Valley, another flash flood occurred along with it. Also, then release of water happened from the Chungthang Dam. When all this came together, the deluge that it created, the invaluable amount of water it was storing earlier and it has now released into the areas. These are the particular factors that are responsible for the Sikkim disaster right now. Now, it led to a sudden increase in the water level up to 15 to 20 feet high downstream. So I hope you understood it with the help of this picture. Let's talk about the South Lonak Lake, which I am terming it time and again the one to blame. This is a moraine dammed lake. What is a moraine dammed lake? When glaciers melt, they bring down with themselves certain debris. And this debris, when it gets lodged at the lower levels, this will create a dam situation like this. This is moraine and this has created a dam. And the glacier is already melting and creating lake over here. This is the glacial lake, which is the South Lonak Lake. And the South Lonak Lake, it lies in the windward side of the hills. That means if it is lying over here, it is facing the winds. That means if there will be clouds that are developed by carrying moisture and they are moving towards this side, it will come in contact with the hills which are lying over here, creating rain and precipitation and hence helping the South Lonak Lake to release water. Because moraines cannot hold the water forever, of course. So this is how a moraine dammed lake happens to be built. And this is not something very new. We have known about it. We have known about it since, time immemorial, if I have to put it from the current perspective. The lake area, which in 2008 was recorded to be around 1.2 square kilometer, it grew very steadily. And the lake's surface area is expanded by almost 0.8 square kilometers since it was first imaged in 1962 by CIA's Corona program. The CIA reconnaissance program said that this was born as a supraglacial lake. That means it was a water body, and this was like a water body which is floating on glaciers. That means the higher the melting of the glaciers will be, the larger this lake will become. And this is a very important manifestation or example of climate change, how it is hurting our country. And you see that these lakes are said to be vulnerable to fractures, as the ice beneath them might not support the weight that they are holding. So this is the reason why Sikkim disaster has happened. Moving on, a low pressure area is moving, which is moving towards east, and it is moving towards multiple states. Accordingly, we know Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, these are the states towards which it is moving. And even certain regions in West Bengal have been cleared off the vulnerable population that was lying near Kalimpong, Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri. They had to be moved to a better position because the water level might increase in the future. Right now, the Teesta is not actually above the danger mark, but it will increase if the cloudbursts are not controlled, as in if there is still rain to happen at this particular rate, then of course problems can arise. Which regions have been affected? Regions that have been affected are Mangan, Gangtok, Pakyong and Namchi district. As you can see with the help of this map, Mangan, Gangtok, Namchi, these are the certain regions that have been impacting. Chongtang cut off due to Tung Bridge collapse. Tung Bridge has collapsed. Pingdang Bridge has collapsed. Even the GREF crusher plant and old police barrack have been washed away at Tung. The Namchi district LD Kazi Bridge has been washed away. Indrani Bridge has been washed away. A relief camp has been set up in the Namphing Sai Mandir. Pakyong district, 2 minor injuries have occurred. 1 is dead in West Bengal. 1 person is under observation. 23 army personnel have been missing. And this is one of the most saddening news. Moving on. Now, if we talk about the Teesta River, the Teesta River is home to many bridges. And that is why we are seeing collapsing of the bridges one after the other. It is being said that at least 10 bridges have collapsed. And Chombo Chu, it actually arises, the Teesta River, as the name Chombo Chu. This is the name. And it actually arises from the Khangchung Cho region, Khangchung Cho Glacier. When it flows in this particular direction, it crosses Sikkim, West Bengal, joins the Jamuna River in Bangladesh. And hence it is an inter-country river or international river. So it is one of the responsibilities that India has as the upper riparian state to make sure that the Teesta River is well cared for. That is why we have developed so many dams over it. But these dams, in case of any seismicity or cloudburst like situation, they of course will collapse because of the ecological conditions that are going on. Now the thing is that this is not something that we did not know about the Lonak Lake. We knew the Lonak Lake. Even there was a project that was undertaken in 2016 to siphon off or pick out water from the Lonak Lake and drain it somewhere else because it was becoming bigger and bigger. So this is the real reason. Now you know the real reason why Sikkim disaster happened. But if we talk about the cloudbursts, what are these? As temperatures intensify, as heat creates itself in the amount it has created right now, we know that El Nino is also responsible for it. It will of course be moist and it will rise. When it will flow towards, this wind will flow towards the windward side of the hill, it will be met with this barrier, and as the cumulonimbus clouds are already responsible for cloudbursts, you have to remember that it creates more expanse. These are very expansive in nature. It covers a larger area. Then because it has come against a barrier, it will shed water. It will start shedding water in the form of precipitation, and this particular region, of course, because it is the leeward side, it will remain dry. But of course, flash floods will be taking place in these regions as well because of the steepness of the, you can say, hill or mountain. So remember, the basic creation of cloudbursts, they occur like this. The more intensity the weather will have when it comes to temperature, the larger will be the chances of cloudburst. Moving on. If we talk about cloudburst, we of course have to take care of the situation of flash floods as well. Now, flash floods generally occur when there is a cloudburst. Cloudburst is the intensity, the intense amount of water that has been drained into an area with the help of precipitation over a short span of time. And flash floods is when an area receives a large amount of water in a very short span of time. So, as you can see how it happens, the flash floods I have already told you. But because of the unscientific urbanization, the seismicity of Himalayan regions, the issues with respect to such glacier lakes, these are majorly responsible for these situations, not only in Sikkim, but other regions in Himalayas as well. As you can see, features of the lake, climate change, seismic activity. There is also rugged topography because of which flash floods occur, and it becomes really hard for rescue operations to take place. Another problem is that cloudbursts cannot be detected properly. Satellites fail to detect this system as the resolution of the precipitation radars are much smaller than the area of individual cloudburst event. We have multiple Doppler weather radar system, but these cannot be deployed in a very magnanimous manner because these are very expensive. Other point is the change in monsoon extreme and cloudbursts are in response to the 1 degree Celsius temperature rise that has happened in the past few years. So this will be a common phenomenon in the years to come. But of course, a question could be formulated for your mains examination about the reasons. You have to ensure that you know it. Also, this is a prelims question for you. With respect to cloudburst, consider the following statements. Rain over 100 mm per hour is categorized as a cloudburst. Cumulonimbus clouds are responsible for cloudbursts. Satellites fail to detect cloudbursts. So how many of the statements given above is or are correct? You have to answer this in the comment segment. I will take the names of those students who have answered it correctly soon. Thank you so much for watching.